Good evening. Good evening. I will help you. Let us say at the outset that words are only auxiliaries. Sometimes words are an interference. So if I speak, it is only to usher us to that where speaking closes and presence does the work. We are not here to collect ideas. We are here for fruitage, tangible, quiet, where there has been anxiety, soft repentance where there has been regret, and the thinning of fear until it is discovered to have been without arm or law. Do you see? Around us the world has many clocks, the wristwatch that scolds, the calendar that calculates, the deadline that sharpens the brow, the old kitchen clock that seems to remember who we used to be. Tonight, we allow all those clocks to take their seats. We will not smash them. We will not argue with them. We will let them tick. And then, right here, we will consent to one presence that is not measured in seconds or in stories. Where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Not I will be after the notes are taken, not I was when you were young, I am in the midst now. Our entire purpose is single, to make room in consciousness for the I that is before and within every moment, not to manufacture peace, not to force correction, but to witness what is already true when the noise subsides. I am that I am, said the voice to Moses, and that name was not dated, not amended, not postponed. If we grant that presence 1 inch of undefended welcome, the clocks begin to lose their command. Do you follow that? We are not going to try to fix your yesterdays or arrange your tomorrows. The temptation will come, oh, it will come, but this hour does not bow to it. This hour bows to what is. We are gathered to prove, by your life experience, by the fruitage, that God appears as individual being, and that this very appearing dissolves yesterday's shame and tomorrow's fret like mist before the day. Watch gently. When we gather time into I am, fear thins. Not by argument, by presence. The ministry here is simple. If you have come for many words, forgive me, I do not have them. My conversation is usually limited to, I will help you. I stand by in consciousness, and I ask you to stand with me quietly, as if holding a candle cupped from the wind. We are not manipulating thought. We are not persuading God. We are consenting to God as the only life in this room, as the only mind in this listening, as the only love in circulation. Be still and know that I am God. Not be still and think about, be still and know. This journey will move step by careful step, from letter to spirit, from talking about God to resting in God, from repeating right phrases to hearing the inner word, from efforting to receive to the sweet discovery that receptivity is your native air. For now, no strain. Let the shoulders drop. Let the breath come of itself. If a clock shouts an old story, do not fight it. Do not fix it. Acknowledge it, then gather it into the simple name I am and let it dissolve there without your supervision. Drop it. A promise must be made and kept. We will not measure our success tonight by how elevated we feel. Feelings are weather. We will measure by fruitage. If in the coming days something of your fear loosens its grip, if a difficult conversation arrives wrapped in an unexpected gentleness, if sleep returns, if a bill meets an answer without your strain, that is the seal upon our consent. And if not, we do not despair. We simply return here again and again until the inner certainty outlives the clock. This is the opening of the room. Many clocks, one presence. We consent. We listen. I will help you. And underneath the quiet, I hear the ancient benediction sounding over this assembly. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Let that be heard as you, not later, now. Now let us hear the line that dislodges the furniture of time. Before Abraham was, I am. Not I was, I am. Do you see? If this were history, it would be pious nostalgia, but it is principle. It is identity declaring itself prior to dates, prior to genealogy, prior to the calendar that men construct and defend. Abraham stands here for the venerable past, the story of promise, the structure of lineage, the respectability of beginning. And the Master says there is an I before that, under that, within that, an I not born and so not bound. This is not a boast. It is revelation. I and my Father are one. The oneness is the point, not the century. The name is I am, not I was then and shall be later. I am that I am the one that refuses tenses and insists upon presence. The mistake we make honestly, sincerely, persistently is to hear that word as belonging to someone else, in a robe, in a distant land, on a page that gathers dust. Thou seest me, thou seest the Father, was not an invitation to admire a person. It was the unveiling of principle. God the invisible, appearing as Son the visible. God is manifest as individual being. When the Master speaks, I am, he is voicing the universal I, that is the life of you, the life of me, the life that stands before Abraham and after the clock on your mantle has fallen silent. Do you follow that? The eye before Abraham is the same eye that looks out of your eyes now, not as a private possession, but as the one life individualized. You have an autobiographical I that was born, that collects diplomas, that remembers unkind words and sweet vacations, that frets about the bill next Friday, that I ages. It increases and decreases, it adds and subtracts. It is very busy with its scrapbook. But there is an I am that does not add or subtract. It does not grow older because it does not grow. It is. Harmony is. Life is. Love is. Abundance is. Omnipresence is. I am. If identity were the scrapbook, then time would have authority over you, and your good would be threatened by the march of days. But I am the resurrection and the life, declares the principle of being, meaning. What I am is never at the mercy of yesterday's misstep or tomorrow's rumor. What becomes of guilt in the presence of I am? It cannot find a self to accuse. Their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. Who says that? Not a sentimental judge waving away justice. The I that is before Abraham announces that in the light of what is. There is no record against the Son of God. Your remorse may be honest. I do not belittle it. But it has no law. It belongs to the scrapbook, not to being. And what becomes of fear? Lo, I am with you always. Always, not sometimes. Always, not when the numbers add up. Fear forecasts the future without God. I am reveals the impossibility of such a future, because the future, when it arrives, can only arrive as now, and now is forever God appearing as being. So when a memory rises sharp, accusing, full of dates, let it present its paper, and then let the I before Abraham answer without voice, not with a denial, not with an argument, but with presence. Be still and know. When a calendar threat shouts deadline, prognosis, last chance, let it shout. And then let the I before Abraham be the atmosphere. You will find that in the felt oneness, the charge drains from the memory, the sting thins from the prediction. This is not suggestion. It is realization. And you will prove it not by my talk, but by your life experience, by the fruitage. A conversation you dreaded comes and goes with grace. A night that has been long finds sleep. An account that seemed narrow meets sufficiency without strain. I and my Father are one is the signature across today. Wear it within, not upon your sleeve. Do not use it to correct others. Use it to unsee the personal self you have been managing and to behold back of the eye the one that is. If in a crisis you have any words, let them be few. I will help you. Then stand by in consciousness as the I am that precedes the story and outlives the forecast. Let identity do the work. In that holy now, yesterday and tomorrow have no footing. They cannot attach to the one who simply is. Do you see? Let us take the first of the two small words upon which this way rests. As God the invisible appears as the visible individual, not beside you, not over you, not waiting for you, as you. Do you see? If you ask, where is God? The answer is not geographical. The answer is appearing. Appearing as life, as intelligence, as love, as the one that is looking out of your eyes in this minute. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. This was not a personal tribute. It was the unveiling of principle. God is manifest as individual being. The Father appears as Son. The one appears as the many without being divided. If you grant this even a mustard seed of consent, one consequence follows at once. There is no other self to mend. There is not a broken you somewhere awaiting repair. There is only mistaken seeing that has superimposed a scrapbook identity over the living presence. Our labor, then, is not the carpentry of fixing, it is the sight of beholding. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment is the recognition of as God as this one, God as that one, God as the very consciousness entertaining these words. How do we do this? Not by straining, by a simple turning of sight. Look back of the eye. By that I mean withdraw the gaze from personhood to presence. When you behold yourself, do not consult the mirror of memory. Turn within just a breath and let the name speak. I am. Let the ancient benediction come forward. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear it as you. Then, just as softly, let it be the truth of the one before you, your child, your partner, your employer, the stranger on the tram. You are not pronouncing a charm over them. You are acknowledging the only self there is as, do not tell them. Please do not decorate the air with phrases that do not yet live in you. Let the seeing be silent. Words are only auxiliaries. Sometimes they are an interference. Keep your speech to the minimum and your beholding to the maximum. When a fault presents itself, yours or another's, do not seize the scalpel. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it, then look back of the eye and behold the one God as. That is the only correction required, and it is not a correction of effect, but a recognition of cause. The indivisible presence appearing as this very being. You will notice at once that the compulsion to argue, to explain, to blame begins to loosen. Why? Because you are not meeting two. I and my Father are one. Oneness dissolves the battlefield. Where there is one appearing as many, there is no opponent to conquer and no patient to change. There is only the one to witness. Your practice may be a breath long. Father, be thou seen as this one. Then silence. Listen. In the hush that follows, do not search for improvement. Rest in is, knowing the manner of appearing is as, take it into the ordinary now. At the desk, God as mind, as clarity, as exactness. At the table, God as supply, as gratitude, as fellowship. In an argument beginning to rise, God as presence, as gentleness, as the soft answer that turns away wrath. You are not adding God to the scene. You are discovering God as the scene's life. If this is true, then guilt has no owner and fear has no victim. For who is there apart from God as to carry them? If you find yourself slipping, and you will, because habit is noisy, do not scold. Return to sight. Back of the eye, behold the Christ of God where a personality seemed to be. Let that be your ministry for this minute, not after you have perfected yourself. Now, in this minute, God is appearing as you. Stand still in that and watch what happens by your life experience, by the fruitage. Do you follow that? Now we take the second word, is. If as tells us who, is tells us how. Not by effort, not by improvement, but by realization. Harmony is. Life is. Love is. Abundance is. Omnipresence is. I am. You are never trying to manufacture God or coax God or apply God to a situation. You are not a mechanic of spirit. You are a witness. The work is not creative. It is contemplative. You do not make 2 times 2 become 4. You realize it is 4. Do you see? No amount of wishing or worrying can turn 3 into 4. 4 is established, whether the child knows it, denies it, or forgets it. In the same way, no parade of conditions alters what already is in God. Our business is to awaken to isness, not to repair appearances. Anxiety's trick is always the same, to drag us into editing time. It points backward, if only, and it points forward, what if, and it commands our attention to fix yesterday or to control tomorrow. But listen to the Master's plain word. Take, therefore, no thought for the morrow. And again, which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? Thought cannot add a cubit. Thought cannot add a dime. Thought cannot add a breath. Why? Because being already is. The stature that is yours in God is. The supply that is yours in God is. The health that is yours in God is. When we attempt to manage time, we abandon is and become apprentices of unreality, chasing a moving target that never yields. Relief begins the moment we stop repairing time and return to what is. Drop it. Give not a thought to the condition. Abide in isness. Now, how does this find a place in the hour that hurts? The phone rings and a voice pours out. A story, symptoms, figures, deadlines. The human impulse is to engage the story, to rearrange the pieces, to advise, to promise. Resist not evil. Do not resist the story with counter-arguments. Do not resist the fear with pious slogans. Simply step back of the eye and rest. Be still and know that I am God. If you have a word, let it be few. I will help you. Then close the lips and let is be the atmosphere of your consciousness. Not is will be when these numbers change. Not is was when we were children and it felt easier. Is. As you rest there, you are not trying to push an appearance into alignment. You are consenting that alignment is the hidden fact, and you are letting that fact announce itself. We do not sweep fog off a hillside with a broom. We do not counsel the sun on how to rise till we wait, and the light that is disperses what never had substance. The arm of flesh, mere appearance, mere suggestion, has no law to enforce itself when the light of is felt. Judge not according to the appearance. Do not declare the fog to be a fact. Unsee it, not by denial, but by recognition. The sun is, the truth is, the Christ is. Through unseeing both human good and human evil as powers, you make room to behold the one that simply is behind the story of fluctuation. Some of you will ask, but what do I actually do at the desk, at the bedside, at the bank? This: pause and shift from repairing to realizing. Inwardly, without show, acknowledge, Father, what is. Life is, love is, sufficiency is. Then listen. Do you see that listening is action of a higher order than thinking? Your words become fewer, your hearing deeper. If thought pulls at yesterday's thread or tomorrow's knot, recognize the tug as nothing but habit. Drop it. Return not to a phrase, but to a presence that bears its own witness. In that quiet, you will discover that solutions appear without your strain. Reconciliations ripen without your argument. And sometimes the only change is that fear itself thins so far that the same facts lose their threat. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know whether you have lived in isness or in time. If you catch yourself, as you surely will, busily mending minutes, stop, smile, no scolding. Return to is, just as you would not correct a child's arithmetic by pleading with the number, you do not correct existence by pleading with the calendar. You look to the principle. 2 times 2 is 4. Being is God. God is being. And in that simple, unwavering now, the spell of yesterday's guilt and tomorrow's fear finds no host. We abide where the Master abides. Lo, I am with you alway, and we let alway mean now. Do you follow that? Let us now look squarely at the so-called enemy that keeps trying to conscript us back into the workshop of fixing time anxiety. Its nature is not a person, not a law, not a substance. It is suggestion, impersonal mesmerism, the ancient belief in 2 powers dressed in minutes and months, with every whisper implies God and a deadline, God and a prognosis, God and a past that cannot be forgiven. Do you see? The moment you accept 2, you have accepted a battlefield. But hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Oneness is not poetry, it is protection. To recognize error as suggestion is to remove its mask of authority. You are not fighting a thing, you are waking from a trance. Scripture has a phrase for this hollow bravado. With him is an arm of flesh, but with us is the Lord our God to help us. 2 Chronicles 32-8. The arm of flesh is always bluster without substance. It declares a clock where God declares, I am. It threatens consequence where God reveals grace. It holds up a chain of causes where being announces uncaused presence. When you feel the tightness of too late, not yet, running out, hear the voice rightly. This is the arm of flesh. Nothingness, pretending to be necessity. Think of the old lesson, the snake in the rope. In twilight, you jump, you sweat, you plan your defense. Then the lantern is lifted, and there is no snake to kill, no plan to perfect, only a rope which never had fangs. Or the non-existent white poodle that some of you know so well, seen, feared, discussed, and never there. Time fear is of that order. The picture is vivid, the essence is absent. The streetcar tracks meet on the horizon only to the eye that has not moved. When the light of is felt, the convergence dissolves. Do you follow that? Therefore, our first method is always depersonalization on contact. A call comes, he has done wrong, or I have failed, and the future is ruined. Do not go hunting sins. Do not trace outcomes. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Recognize. Hypnotic suggestion is presenting a case using memory and forecast as its exhibits. Then gently, without strain, return to as and is, God appearing as this one, God appearing as you. Harmony is, life is, love is. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment sees through the film and beholds the one. This does not make you passive, it makes you accurate. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Stand still is an instruction to your inner cord, not to your outer hands. Outwardly, you may sign the paper, make the call, catch the train. Inwardly, you refuse the premise of two powers, and you refuse the calendar's divinity. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. Now, if salvation is now, what authority remains to the story that says, not yet, or too late? Only suggestion, only the arm of flesh. You will know you are depersonalizing when blame loses its heat and urgency loses its whip. The email that would have scorched the nerves arrives, and you read it with a quiet that you did not manufacture. A symptom that had a trumpet finds its volume lowered, sometimes gone, sometimes still present to sense but emptied of tyranny. A memory that used to bruise begins to pass like a paper boat under a wide sky. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know whether you have unmasked suggestion or argued with it. If you have argued, fatigue will tell on you. If you have unmasked, peace will announce itself before results do. Beware the common trap, making suggestion into a project. Do not become the collector of white poodles. Once seen as nothing, let it be nothing. Resist not evil. To resist is to grant a nature to what never had one. Smile at the calendar's scowl. Bow to I am. Whisper if you must, I will help you, and let those words be your pledge to stand by in consciousness while the hypnotism runs out of audience. We will shortly take up a simple practice of gathering the folding of yesterday and tomorrow into I am. For now, remember this. The tyrant is not time, but the belief that time can decree upon the Son of God. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Let that be heard where accusation used to speak and where forecast used to frighten. In that recognition, the arm of flesh hangs lifeless, and the present, undivided, unhurried, bears witness to itself. Let us do the practice now. Simply, without decoration. Words are only auxiliaries. We will use a few to prime the pump, and then let silence do the work. Remember, we do not chase thoughts. We gather them into I am and listen. Do you see? Stage one is the letter conscious knowing. Close the door of the senses just a little, as you would draw a curtain to soften glare, and know, I am is the life here. Omnipresence is. Nothing stands outside, this is. Say it inwardly, not as persuasion, not as magic, but as acknowledgement of the fact that refuses tenses. Harmony is, life is, love is, supply is, presence is. Be still and know that I am God. Not later, now. In this quiet, do not argue with what is seen or felt. Do not touch the picture. Touch the principle. 2 times 2 is 4. Being is God. God is being. Let the rhythm of is settle the surface of the mind as a hand settles a restless page. Stage 2 is the gathering. Gently, without rummaging, take yesterday's scene, the conversation that stung, the mistake that keeps presenting its bill, and place it within the same I am. This too is within isness. Do not edit it. Do not defend it. Just lay it in the light. Then take tomorrow's plan, the appointment, the number, the prognosis, the hope, and place it in the same light. This too is within isness. As you do, you are not making rope into snake or snake into rope. You are letting the lamp be what it is. The past has no life outside I am. The future has no corridor where God is not. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Ever with me, all that I have is thine. The scrapbook yields to the living album of presence. Do you follow that? Stage 3 is receptivity listening. No words now or the fewest. My sheep hear my voice. not spoken, sound, felt assurance. Sit a half minute inside the name. Breathe without managing breath. If a thought knocks, do not chase it down the hall. Open the door of I am and let it enter and be quieted there. If no thought comes, do not go fishing. Let truth declare itself. You are not the announcer, you are the listener. The still small voice is not small in effect. It is only small to the senses that look for wind and earthquake and fire. Wait. Consent. If there is an inner movement, a softening, an ease, an unforced idea, notice it and keep still. If there is only quiet, that is the announcement. Presence is, I will help you. Now the application. During the day, when an anxiety spike rises, an email sting, a calendar bark, a pulse in the temple, do not make a project of it. Do not reach for 9 sentences. Take 10 seconds. Letter, I am is the life here. Omnipresence is. Nothing stands outside this is. Gather yesterday's echo, tomorrow's rumor within I am. This too is within isness. Receptivity. A breath of listening. Drop it. Then proceed with your task. Outwardly you may write the reply, pay the bill, see the doctor. Inwardly you have refused the premise of 2 powers. Take therefore no thought for the morrow. Taking no thought does not mean shirking the day. It means declining to crown thought as your savior. The savior is presence. If you forget, and you will, because the old clock enjoys its voice, do not scold, return. The practice is a turning, not a triumph. Repeat as often as the bell tolls, but never with force. No willpower, only yielding. Each time you yield, the felt weight of the picture thins, blame cools, urgency loses its whip. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know the same facts pass through a quieter atmosphere. A needed word arrives without hunting, a door opens with less knock. If results seem slow, do not wrestle the rope back into a snake to prove a point. Smile and return to the gathering. Let me put a seal upon it. Casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. The casting is not flinging worries into space. It is the gathering of every thread, yesterday's tangle and tomorrow's weave, into I am. Their care is not managed. It is dissolved as unreal in the face of being. Keep your spoken ministry minimal. I will help you. Keep your inner stance steady. I am is the life here. And listen. The more you listen, the fewer words you will need, and the surer you will be that the eternal now carries its own government. Do you see? When the phone rings and the voice trembles, keep your words spare. Let the first and often the only sentence be, I will help you. Do you see? Words are only auxiliaries. Sometimes they are an interference. The need at that moment is not a lecture, not a vocabulary lesson in truth, not the recital of slogan. Comfort ye, my people, does not mean crowd the air. It means presence felt, steady, unhurried. Let your communication be, yea, yea, yes, I am here. Yes, I will help you. Then stand by in consciousness. Standing by in consciousness looks like this. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Back of the eye, behold the one. Unsee human good and human evil. Do not dramatize the pain, and do not manufacture a human optimism to oppose it. Be still and know. God appearing as this one, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Let that be the atmosphere you are holding for them, and at the same time let it be the truth of you who are called to serve. Thou seest me, thou seest the Father. Not a person helping a person, but God, witnessing God. The arm of flesh has no jurisdiction here. It is suggestion only. Presence is, avoid the temptation to soothe with formulas. Nothing so quickly antagonizes pain as a shiny phrase laid across it. When a mother weeps or a man reads figures that tighten his chest, do not say, "There are no accidents in divine mind," and do not explain illusion to the hurting. Resist not evil. Resist not the story with counters. Do not meet fear with a louder mind. Keep to, "I will help you." Then silence. Your realized presence speaks louder than explanations. If another word is needed at all, let it be practical and humanly gentle. "I am with you. We will take the next step together." Then close the lips and open the ear. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. What does presence do? It governs without your managing. Often the report comes back. The pain eased before the ambulance arrived. The meeting that threatened became a conversation. The figures changed, or if they did not change at once, the fear behind them thinned until wisdom had room to act. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know whether you stood in "I am" or in argument. Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. Presence is what you have. Give that. You will find that need calls end sooner, explanations shrink, and outcomes acquire a grace that was not engineered. After such a call, sit for a minute, two at most, close the door within, and return to as and is. Father, what is, is. God as this one. Harmony is. Then listen. Do nothing by will. If an instruction rises, send a note, make that appointment, offer a ride, do it quietly, without claiming authorship. If nothing arises, keep still. My presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. You are not making results, you are consenting to rest, and rest is contagiously healing. Do not preach in the sick room or in the kitchen. Do not turn your loved one into your student. Keep your ministry minimal and your realization maximal. When you look at them, look back of the eye and behold the Christ of God. Say within, just once, if at all, "I will help you." Then be the help by being the stillness. Be of good cheer, it is I. Be not afraid. Not many words, a single I. When realized, it stills waves without speech. You will discover that your usefulness increases as your vocabulary decreases. The less you promise, the more is fulfilled. The fewer your assertions, the stronger your assurance. Why? Because the pressure to perform has been transferred from person to presence. Lo, I am with you always. Always is now. Let always do the talking. Do you follow that? Keep to the one sentence that is both pledge and practice. "I will help you and let the government rest upon his shoulder." Now we must be honest with ourselves in the way the Master was honest. "By their fruits ye shall know them." Not by our talk, not by our glow, by our life experience, by the fruitage. Do you see? Realization verifies itself, not in fireworks, but in a steady lessening of fear and a quiet increase of harmony. Problems begin to solve simply. The continuity of peace lengthens like daylight in spring. The nervous return to the calendar weakens. You will notice, if you are living in as and is rather than in argument, that anxiety cycles shorten. Where once you spiraled for hours, you now remember to gather within minutes, sometimes in a breath. Where once you rehearsed answers for a meeting, you enter and discover the meeting has become a conversation. Where once you defended, you now listen, and the edge drops from both voices. The peace of God, which passeth all understanding, starts to become the atmosphere before outcomes change. Markers will show themselves not to flatter you, but to steady you. Kinder decisions come almost of themselves. The impulse to punish yields to the wisdom to correct without bruise. Provision appears without your strain. Not a fortune teller's windfall, but the right call, the unexpected payment on time, the idea that removes expense, the opportunity that fits like a key. Give us this day our daily bread becomes present tense bread, not a famine and feast drama. Relationships soften, apologies come sooner, or are not needed because offense never reached the tongue. You catch yourself stopping mid-sentence and returning to I am rather than finishing a clever retort. Sleep grows more even. The body, still reporting its stories, does so with less authority. Sometimes the symptom fades, sometimes it remains, while fear thins until wisdom has room to act. You will find the day coheres. Interruptions feel like appointments rather than invasions. Do you follow that? If these signs are scarce, do not be ashamed. Be precise. You may be in an emotional jag, pleased with truth talk, warmed by phrases yet unproved. That is no sin. It is merely the letter. Return to practice. Deepen receptivity. Shorten the speech. Lengthen the listening. Keep to, I will help you. Keep to, Father, what is, is. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Sit those few silent seconds in I am and let truth declare itself. You will know you have shifted from self-declaration to Spirit's impartation when peace precedes explanation, when fatigue is replaced by quiet strength. If fatigue persists, you have been arguing with appearances. Stop, smile, start again. My sheep hear my voice. Let the voice be heard. To assist your honesty, keep a small, unadorned journal of fruitage. Not eloquent feelings, outcomes, and timings. Note the date, the call, the need. Note what you did inwardly gathered yesterday and tomorrow into I am, stood still, listened. Then record what transpired and when. The fever broke at 10. The fear lifted before the appointment. The needed email arrived within the hour. Or, nothing changed outwardly today, but the panic that once ruled now lasted 5 minutes instead of 5 hours. Give thanks. Not to congratulate a person, but to acknowledge presence. Thanksgiving seals the realization without turning it into a trophy. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God, and the peace of God shall keep your hearts and minds. Philippians 4. Thanksgiving keeps and quiets. Do not grade results as big and little. A softened tone at breakfast may be the more sacred sign than a changed ledger. Both witness the same principle, God appearing as you, and isness governing without your strain. Perfect love casteth out fear. Casting is not always a single throw. It is the steady action of realized presence, dissolving the hypnosis of two powers. Watch for fear thinning. Watch for haste losing its whip. Watch for choices being made without cruelty to yourself or others. By these you will know. Let this be your validation, not the self's performance, but the day's ease under the government of I am. If fruitage lags, do not lengthen words, shorten them. Do not tighten, will loosen into listening, stay with as and is. Each minute proved is a seed of more. And when tomorrow's clock tries its old authority, the same ledger of fruitage will remind you, now is the accepted time. Return, consent, and let the present bear witness to itself. When the old clock strikes, and it will, you may notice the body tighten, the breath shorten, the mind rehearse. That sound is not a summons to work harder. It is a bell to return. Each stumble is the cue, not to more effort, to as and is. Do you see? The temptation in that instant is to seize the reins and force stillness. White-knuckle meditation, counting breaths like coins, commanding the mind to obey, That is will, not spirit. Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. The correction is consent. Relax into isness. Be still and know. Say nothing if you can. If a word is needed to prime the pump, I am is the life here, then drop it. Listening is stronger than forcing. You could as easily force the sunrise as compel peace. The sun is, you let it be felt. Do you follow that? The next trap is the oldest personalizing guilt and fear. The mind rushes to assign blame. I failed yesterday. He wronged me. She ruined the chance. I have ruined the future. That is the arm of flesh draped in names and dates. The correction is depersonalization. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Recognize hypnotic suggestion presenting its exhibits. With him is an arm of flesh, but with us is the Lord our God to help us. Bring the whole story, accuser and accused, into I am, God appearing as you, God appearing as this one. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. When you lift the lantern, the snake becomes a rope again. The white poodle dissolves into never was. Guilt loses its sting because you have removed from it the false dignity of personhood and law. You will know you have done this rightly when blame cools and the next right step appears without the lash. Another common snare is over-talking truth. The pressure mounts, and we begin to lecture ourselves or others, piling phrases on the altar as if volume were devotion. Words are only auxiliaries. Sometimes they are an interference. The correction is silence and sight. Look back of the eye and behold the Christ identity. Thou seest me, thou seest the Father. Say within, once if at all, I will help you. Then close the lips. The realized presence speaks louder than explanation. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. You will notice that explanations shrink as assurance grows. The fruitage will tell on you. Shorter calls, fewer arguments, more swift easings that you did not engineer. The fourth trap is missionary zeal applied to persons trying to fix others. We hear a story, and the hands of the mind reach out to rework the character, to insist they do this, feel that, think otherwise. That is subtle violence. Even if wrapped in spiritual ribbon, the correction is witness, not management. Bear witness, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Stand by in consciousness. If a simple human kindness is to be done, it will arise without strain. If no act is given, do not substitute advice for presence. Lo, I am with you always. Let always do the work. Do you see? There are lighter traps too. Turning the journal of fruitage into a scorecard. Timing God with the calendar. Now, by 3 o'clock. Resisting the picture so hard that the picture grows in our thought. The correction in each case is the same twofold return. As God appearing as individual being is the realization of what already is. Drop the stopwatch. Drop the frown. Smile and come home. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. If salvation is now, pressure has no office and memory has no throne. You may ask, how quickly do I correct? Immediately, but gently. The instant you notice willpower tightening, loosen. The instant you catch blame forming, unsee the person and see the one. The instant you hear yourself lecturing, stop mid-sentence if you can, fall silent and look back of the eye. The instant you reach to fix another, withdraw the hand and bear witness instead. These are not disciplines of severity, they are mercies. Each returns you to the center where I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. There the old clock can strike as it pleases, and nothing essential is summoned or dismissed. Presence abides. And by your life experience, By the fruitage, you will know that every stumble, rightly used, became a doorway, not to effort, but to I am. Let us put the lamp on the path of an ordinary day. A simple liturgy, few words, much listening, not a program to carry, but a rhythm that lets I am carry you. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Do you see? On waking before the hand reaches for the clock or the mind collects its calendar consciously, know, I and the Father are one. All that the Father hath is mine. Not a boast, an inheritance statement. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Rest there a half minute as God appearing as you is harmony already present. Let the day be announced from the center rather than from headlines. If another sentence is needed, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Then silence, consent, begin. As you cross doorways, bedroom to hall, home to street, office to meeting, let each threshold be a sacrament of 10 seconds. Only I am goes before me. Only I am appears here. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Not a parade of phrases, a glance inward, a breath of listening. If an email blinks, do not let it set the weather. Before you open it, gather yesterday's echo and tomorrow's rumor. Within I am, open, read, reply. Outwardly, you do your task. Inwardly, you refuse two powers and let presence govern order, tone, and timing. Do you follow that? At work, keep your ministry minimal and your vision exact. Look back of the eye, God appearing as you, God appearing as the one before you. Thou seest me, thou seest the Father. If a request comes with heat, do not meet heat with management. Pause. Only I am appears here, and answer from stillness. If you must say anything within to prime the pump, say, I will help you, and let those 4 words place the government back on his shoulder. You will find meetings become conversations, and conversations become solutions you did not engineer. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know at meals. Refuse pleading. Recognize sufficiency. Give us this day our daily bread. Bread is the symbol. I am is the substance. Before the first bite, supply is, life is, love is. Acknowledge quietly and eat without pressure. Gratitude is not payment, it is recognition. Thou preparest a table before me. Let the table be more than food, companionship, ease, the sense that nothing essential is missing. With money, avoid drama. Numbers are not gods, they are shadows that follow government. As you pay a bill or receive a wage, abide in, all that the Father hath is mine. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Not license to be careless, license to be unafraid. Do the next wise thing, send the check, make the plan, while inwardly you know, abundance is, order is. If a figure startles, do not argue, gather it into I am, and listen. Ideas come in an unforced way. Reduce here, add there, call this one, wait on that. My God shall supply all your need according to his riches and glory. Need, not greed. Glory, not strain. Midday, set one small bell, a phone chime, a passing hour to return you to simplicity. 10 seconds. I and the Father are one. Only I am goes before me. Then listen. No words, if possible. The afternoon will tell on you. Fewer corrections, cleaner steps. At day's close, sit 2 quiet minutes. No projects. Recollect the day into I am wins, losses, conversations, figures within isness. Be still and know that I am God. Give thanks for any fruitage, a softened word, a solved knot, a fear thinned. Thanksgiving seals without boasting. Then let your last ministry be universal and spare. I will help you. For the weary, for the angry, for the frightened, no names, no management, only presence consented to. He giveth his beloved sleep. Yield the night. Into thy hand I commit my spirit, underneath of the everlasting arms. This is the rhythm: brief knowing, frequent listening, minimal words. As and is at waking, at thresholds, at table, at leisure, at night. Pray without ceasing does not mean many sentences. It means unbroken consent. And the day, thus carried by I am, will carry you. Do you see?